The water is still, brown, slow, ordinary, and lying half in the shallows is the most feared reptile on the African continent, a full-grown Nile crocodile, 13 feet of armor and muscle, dead. But it isn't the death that stops you, it's the shape of it. The crocodile is in two pieces, severed clean, just in front of the hind legs, as if something had brought a guillotine straight down through the middle of it. There is no long trail of struggle, no half-eaten carcass. Nothing took a meal here. Something simply bit this animal in half and left both halves lying in the mud. And this is not a scene invented to pull you in. In 1956, a British zoologist named Hugh Cott, a man who spent years wading through East African rivers to study these animals up close, came upon exactly this near Paraa in what is now Uganda. A large crocodile, lying in shallow water, cut in two in front of the hind limbs as cleanly as if a blade had done it. That leaves one question, the only one that matters. What has the strength and the nerve to bite a crocodile in half? Let's do this properly, like a crime scene, one suspect at a time. Start with the most obvious, another crocodile. They share this water, and they will turn on their own kind. But no, crocodiles don't kill like this. They clamp down, and they spin. The death roll. It twists a limb loose and tears flesh off the bone in ragged strips. It is brutal, and it is messy, and it leaves a chewed, shredded wound. Not one clean cut straight through the spine. And remember what a crocodile's teeth actually are. Cones, built to grip and to hold, never to shear. A crocodile could not have made this cut. Cross it off. An elephant, then. An elephant has the raw power to break almost anything in Africa. But an elephant kills on land, or right at the water's edge, not out in the deeper channel where this body was found. And an elephant leaves a signature you cannot miss. Ground churned to mud, saplings snapped, deep tusk wounds, the whole scene stamped flat. There is none of that here. Just the river and the two halves. Cross it off. A lion? A pride catching it at a river crossing? No. Lions avoid deep water almost religiously, and that avoidance, as you will see in a moment, is not cowardice. It is good judgment. No cat did this. A hunter, a poacher. No blade leaves an edge like this on living bone, and no bullet was fired. And a poacher takes the skin, takes the teeth, the parts worth money. This crocodile was left whole, in two pieces, worth nothing to anyone. Cross it off. So look hard at what's left. The killer lives in this water. It outweighs a 13-foot crocodile. It can bring its jaws straight down through armor and through bone in a single vertical motion. And, the part that should unsettle you most, it had a reason to do this that has nothing to do with hunger. And here is where the story turns. Because the killer is not a monster. You have seen it 100 times. It is printed on children's lunchboxes. It is a plush toy on a nursery shelf. It smiles in cartoons and waddles through bedtime stories. It's the hippopotamus. Go ahead, hold that picture in your head. The round, gentle, roly-poly hippo. The friendly one. Now throw it away, because that animal does not exist. The real one is, by most estimates, responsible for around 500 human deaths every single year in Africa. More than lions. More than any other large animal on the continent. And it doesn't eat one of them, because the hippo is a vegetarian. It kills for a single reason, and we will get to that reason. But first, you have to understand exactly who you are dealing with, because this is not a danger that lives far away in some remote wilderness. Anyone who fishes these rivers for a living knows it in their bones. A hippo will crush a wooden boat like a matchstick and take the people inside it down with the wreck. This has been filmed. It has been photographed. In 2009 in South Africa, tourists watched and recorded a territorial hippo bite a 13-foot crocodile clean in half. The same injury Hugh Cott had described more than 50 years earlier. And it is not slow. On land, over a short charge, A hippo can move at close to 20 miles an hour, faster than you can run. Now look at how this thing is built. The hippopotamus is the third largest land animal alive, behind only the elephant and the rhino. A big bull can weigh close to 9,000 pounds, better than 4 tons of muscle wrapped in hide 2 inches thick. Its eyes, its ears, and its nostrils all sit high on top of its head, so it can lie almost fully submerged with nothing showing but that thin strip, a living submarine that happens to eat grass. Its bones are so dense the animal has almost no natural buoyancy at all. Left to physics, it sinks. And under that placid gray skin, it secretes a strange reddish, oily fluid that dries into a natural sunscreen, which is exactly where the old story of the hippo sweating blood comes from. Nothing about this animal is what it first appears to be. Then, there is the mouth. A hippo can open its jaws to about 150 degrees, roughly 3 times as wide as you can open yours. Fully open, that mouth is 4 to 5 feet across. When a hippo yawns at you across the water, understand that it is not tired. That is a threat. It is showing you the weapons and hoping you are smart enough to leave. And the weapons are extraordinary. Set into that pink cavern are canine tusks of solid ivory, up to 20 inches long, 1.5 feet of bone. And they never stop growing for the animal's entire life. They are not for eating. The hippo crops grass with the broad, blunt front of its lips. These teeth are built for war. And here is the detail that should stay with you long after this video is over. Every single time the hippo shuts its jaws, the lower tusks grind against the upper ones and sharpen themselves. A self-honing blade, made a little keener with every bite the animal takes. It walks around its whole life, keeping its own knives ready. Behind those tusks is a bite measured at around 1,800 pounds per square inch, enough to snap a canoe in 2, enough, as we have already seen, to cut a crocodile in half. But raw strength still doesn't explain the body in the shallows, because on paper, on every specification you could line up side by side, the crocodile should have won this fight. Consider what the Nile crocodile actually is. Its bite is one of the most powerful ever recorded in any living animal. The estimates run as high as 5,000 pounds per square inch, even stronger than the hippo's. Its back and flanks are plated in bone, osteoderms grown directly into the skin, turning the whole animal into something closer to a fortress than a lizard. Its basic body plan is more than 200 million years old, a design so effective that it outlasted the dinosaurs and has barely changed since. It can lie motionless underwater for hours on end, slowing its own heartbeat, sending blood only to the organs that need it, waiting with a patience nothing warm-blooded could ever match. Its jaws are studded with pressure sensors so fine they can feel a single ripple cross the surface, the touch of a bird's foot, the tremor of a waiting animal a body length away. It is the reason wildebeest die by the thousands at the river crossings. It is the reason the lions will not enter the water. So how does a grass eater kill something like that? Here is the trick. And it is a strange, almost unfair one. The crocodile's jaws are a paradox. The muscles that snap them shut are titanic, among the strongest in all of nature. But the muscles that open them are so weak that a grown man can hold a crocodile's mouth closed with his bare hands. All of that terrible power runs in one direction only. Hold that thought. In about 90 seconds, it decides everything. There is one last piece to this puzzle: the place itself. In the dry season, the Mara and rivers like it begin to shrink. What was a wide open channel breaks apart into a chain of crowded, evaporating pools, and animals that would normally keep a careful, wary distance from one another are suddenly forced into the same warm, dwindling mud, shoulder to shoulder, day after day, with nowhere to retreat to. Tempers that a wide river used to keep safely apart now have no room left to cool. Researchers working one African river measured aggressive encounters between the species climbing by roughly 300% in the worst of the droughts. The water gets smaller, and the killing gets more frequent. And inside that crowded, tightening world, There is one rule that almost nothing survives breaking. The river belongs to the hippo. Not most of it. All of it. A dominant bull holds his stretch of water the way a warlord holds a border, and he does not negotiate, and he does not warn a second time. It is the same instinct exactly that turns a hippo on a passing fishing boat. He does not see a meal. He sees a trespasser in his water, and a trespasser gets one answer, the very same answer this crocodile is about to receive. So picture the last mistake this crocodile ever makes. It drifts in too close. Maybe, in the crush of that shrinking pool, it brushes against a calf. In that water, on that day, that is all it takes. The crocodile does what a crocodile has done for 200 million years. It opens its jaws, it hisses, it shows the long rows of teeth. To almost anything else alive in Africa, that display is the end of the argument. The hippo does not stop. 3 tons come up off the river bottom at once. Remember, the hippo doesn't float and it doesn't paddle. Its bones are too dense, so it runs instead. Straight along the bottom, driving off the mud with those short, immense legs, closing the distance far faster than anything that size has any right to move. The crocodile twists to bring its tail around, to do the one thing it truly knows how to do. But there is no room. The pool is too small. The deep channel it would have escaped down dried up 2 months ago. The great mouth opens over the middle of the crocodile's body. The tusks go in from below first, through the soft belly, the one seam the armor never covers, driving upward through the organs. The bony plates across the back hold for a single moment. And that one moment is when the physics takes command. Because what the hippo has clamped its jaws around is, in plain engineering terms, a beam. A rigid span with tremendous force loaded onto its exact center and nothing beneath it to hold it up. Every beam ever built has a point at which it fails. Crack. The spine gives. And in a second or two, the animal that terrified every living thing in this river becomes a still, silent shape turning slowly in the brown current. The hippo simply lets go. It does not feed. It never wanted to. It settles back down into the water, blows a hard spray from its nostrils, and its eyes drift back to that same calm, half-asleep expression, the one from the lunchbox, the one from the bedtime story, as if nothing at all had happened. That is the animal, not the cartoon, not the plush toy, a quiet, grazing giant that will turn a river red to hold a patch of muddy water and then go straight back to eating grass. Hugh Cott found the proof of it in 1956, and in the decades since, wildlife biologists and photographers have documented it again and again. Hippos cutting crocodiles clean in two, driving them out of shared channels, closing ranks around a threatened calf and drowning the intruder between them. The pattern almost never breaks. When a healthy adult hippo decides that a crocodile has to go, the crocodile goes. So here is what I want to know from you. Take away the water. Put both animals on open, dry ground. No river for the crocodile to vanish into. No shrinking pool to trap it in. Does the crocodile finally stand a chance? Or does it end exactly the way it ended in the Mara? Tell me in the comments, and be specific, because I read them. And if you had never once thought of the hippo as the single most dangerous large animal in Africa, then you are exactly who this channel is for. Stay with us.